because of course I designed this game to be the most immersive possible. That takes us to issue 4. Oh, you can't see my fingers because it's so dark. But issue 4 is the score counter. So look, it says 1, 2, 4, okay? Did you see that? Let me show you again. So if you look at the number it's representing for the score, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, or I don't know. It skips some numbers, which is really bad, and someone pointed it out in the last video, so let me go fix that. Woo, let's make the font size bigger so that you viewers can see it more easily. So it used to look like this, and now it looks like... Holy crap. Oh, there we go. Wow, now you can actually read it. So I'll admit, I was being a little sloppy with my score displayer. You can see here I say int power of 2 and then use pow, but pow deals with floating point numbers, so you can have rounding errors, which probably resulted in the issues you saw over there, because floats and ints don't mix that well. But like, I don't even need to worry about powers of 2 because what I should be doing is bit shifting. It's so much faster than actually calculating powers of 2 and dividing. Urgent correction, it turns out there's this function called bit read that directly reads what is at each bit of an integer. So I don't even need to worry about all this iterating in which order or whatever, because I just need to read that bit. So all I really have to do is just say shine if the bit at the position of the pixel, which is, well, num, when num is the highest, that's the right side of the screen, so that would be a power of 0. Yeah, the 0th digit, you know, at the very end. So I'm gonna do 7 minus plus 8 times p num, because p num is 8 digit going vertically, which changes it by 8 powers of 2. Now if p num is 2, I don't want this to have any effect, but if p num is 1, I want it to have an effect. So I'll put it in like that. So let's just delete that. And I think that should be enough. That removed 3 lines of code, which is always good. You want to make your code short and simple. Of course, I would not be the person to ask when it comes to the style of code, because my style is hideous. Switching to the game now, we can see the score right here going 1. Dang it. Switching to the game now, the score is going to be in this corner, and you can see it counting up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, yes, it looks like it's working. Yes, it's exactly like it should be. I'm gonna have to review the video afterward because when I'm playing at this high speed, it's harder for me to tell. Feels like it's a lot harder than it used to be. I rewatched that video and it looks like it's 100% correct. The game was running faster today than it was before, so it's unfair. That's why I was doing so poorly. But I think I kind of calibrated it close enough now, so the scores I get now should closely reflect the scores I got in the first game, since it should be identical now. Though, I mean, there doesn't have to be a standard. I died there. There doesn't have to be a set standard, but I would like my high scores from the past to still make sense here. I think I fixed that now. Okay, so what is that? 128 plus 32 is 160. 163! That's 4 more than 159 from my old video, so I am the new world record holder. Well, I was the old world record holder too. But you get the point! That was so intense, it's crazy! But you know what? Enough of this game, because issue 5 is that there aren't enough modes in this game console thing. Right? So you've only got the Conway's Game of Life and this game. That's only 2 modes. Why don't we add a third one, huh? Why don't we do that? Well, I guess I'll start programming it right now because, hey, programming is what I do for fun. So let's get started. Okay, 10-minute project check. This is from 11:40 p.m. to 11:50 p.m. This is what I've got. So now there's 3 modes. That was mode 1, mode 2. Mode 3 is just this checkerboard pattern, which doesn't seem like a lot of progress, but it shows that switching modes works entirely. So really all I have to do is just replace this checkerboard thing with the actual game. Now what's cool about the checkerboard is because the colors of the LEDs are also in a checkerboard, it's all blue. That is so cool. 10-minute update, guys. Actually, I programmed for 10 minutes and then went to bed, which means it's now the next day, but the progress I've got is the snake can now progress downward, but it doesn't recede. And that's pretty much all there is to it. You can't control it. So let's keep going. Ten-minute checkup time again. So what I've got this time is the snake both extends and recedes. So because it's a length of 1, it just looks like a dot, but the code is allowing for longer snakes. And if I press this button down here, it will turn left. Oh, I thought I made it so that it turns right, but whatever, turning at all, so it can do that. So you can see I'm pressing down here. Press, press, press. Let's move on now. 10-minute checkup again. So the blinking dots are the food. So now, oh, I pressed the wrong button. If I press it and eat the food, it goes away and produces a new food, except my snake doesn't lengthen yet. But progress is definitely being made. Also, you might realize that right now I can only turn right. Well, that's what happens when you only have one control button. Okay, this is the 5th checkup, I think. So I decided to make it so the screen pans with the snake. Can you see what's going on? That's not quite working. Actually, no, it looks right. And I guess if you haven't noticed, also when you collect food, you grow in length, just like you do in real snake. And then the last thing is that you always turn right, except when you eat a piece of food, that direction inverts. So after eating a piece of food, now you only turn left. Also, when you crash into yourself, weird things happen. Like, see, I'm still alive, but like remnants of myself are still there, so I gotta fix that. Yeah, it's hard to tell what's going on. Maybe I shouldn't have made it scroll. But the reason I wanted to make it pan with the snake is because I didn't want to have the borders be actual walls that you can collide with. But then if you're like turning near the corners or edges and showing up on the other side, that's a really jarring experience, and it feels like you have to move your eye around a lot. That's not fun. But if it just pans with the snake, then maybe it'll work. However, looking at this right now, I don't know if that method is going to work at all. Maybe I should just go back to the stable camera. 10-minute update, now you can lose. So I'm this dot. I made it so that it stops panning because that was dumb, and it also loops over still, which I'm gonna make it so that the walls actually kill you. But if I collide with myself, then it stops playing. In the final version, it's gonna show your score, but this is what I've got for now. After about an hour and 20 minutes of programming, I think I might be done. So the latest additions to the game are, well, it's faster. And I made it so that you can only ever turn right. And the walls you can actually collide with now. So if you collide with it, it shows you your final score, which is how long you were. 0-2. And if you wonder how I did that, how I stored what the number should look like, well, I didn't want to have a huge, like, 3-dimensional array for all of them, because on a tiny Arduino, you gotta save space. So right here, do you see these numbers? Those each represent the digits 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. But if you imagine a 3x5 rectangle of pixels that are on or off, that's like a 15-digit number in base 2, right? So I turned that binary number into a decimal number there, which means that for 0, if you imagine what a 0 looks like on a 3x5 grid, that would be 111, 101, 101, 101, 111. That creates the 0 shape. And that's how I pretty much encode all the digits. And then I just have to read the bits at every position in the integer to create these numbers again. So back to Snake now. The other addition is, well, you can collide with yourself like before. I'm not sure what else is new. Well, that one's gonna be hard to get. Ugh. Okay, got it. The one thing I hated about Snake is that since the walls you had to avoid, if the food ever ended up right next to the wall, you were forced to make a really hard move, even if, like that one. Oh, I died. 9. One issue about only turning right is that if you ever get, oh, that was really bad. If you ever find yourself forming even the loosest of spirals, you're doomed, because either you'll crash into yourself or the spiral will get tighter and tighter as you get further and further into the spiral, and then you will crash at the very center of the spiral. When you have a top-down game and you want to control the movement of a moving object, it's kind of confusing when you're moving downward and turning right is like that and turning left is like that. Oh, I gotta cut my fingernails, by the way. Don't tell me, because I already know. It's confusing how turning right makes you look like you're turning left and turning left makes it look like you're turning right. But then when you're, facing upward, it's exactly like normal. I feel like if it's a top-down game, the only controls that make sense are to actually just say press left to move left, press right to move right, press up to move up, and press down to move down. But I don't have 4 controls for that. So I like to avoid the relative rotationalism, but it's okay as long as there's only one type of rotation, which is to turn right. So I think it's a little bit easier to understand this game of Snake if I make it so that the only control you have is to turn right. And besides, if I'm following the theme of the last game, which is that there's only one control ever, like one bit of information you can send to the computer, then this game still fits with that. And maybe all the games I make in the future on this will be like that too. I can't do very well when I'm also recording at the same time, or holding the camera at least, so I'll put it on a tripod. I'm way too cautious. There. Ooh, that one's there. That was close. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, the way I made the snake move is that there's an array, an 8x8 array of the, oh I died, 20, that's pretty good. That's like 1/3 of the whole screen because it's 8x8, 64 pixels, so it's about 1/3. The way I programmed it is it's an 8x8 grid of the map showing exactly what's in every tile. So if it's empty, it's a 0. If it's food, it's 5. And then if it's part of the snake's body, it's one of the 4 directions, which points in the direction that the snake was moving at that time. Now, if the snake is like 20 tiles long, only the front and back ends actually need to be active. The front end continues in the direction that that tile was pointing, and the back direction recedes in the direction it was pointing, and then reverts back to 0. So even if the snake is 60 tiles long, the game will still run as fast as if it were just 1, because there's still only 2 ends that are actually being calculated every single frame. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's how all Snake games work, but I think it's just really interesting that even as the game looks like more and more is happening, it's actually, but from the computer's perspective, the same amount is happening. Oh yeah, and then whenever you eat food, it just doesn't advance. It doesn't recede when it advances 1, which makes it get 1 longer. Just this portion of the video is already 7 minutes. That's way too long. Bye. Hey people, here's the mandatory vlog part of the video. If you made it this far through the series, and you want to let me know what you think about my LED box, please rate this video and leave a comment. Also, if you're feeling generous and you want to see more games added to this piece of junk, support me on Patreon and follow me on Twitter. Most YouTubers' Twitter to YouTube ratio is about 1 in 3 or 1 in 4, and it turns out my ratio is worse than 1 in 100, and I have no idea why. So to fix imbalances in the system, you know what to do. Bye for real now!